All right, everybody, let's get straight into this video. Just want to do a quick disclaimer. Trading is very risky. You can lose a lot of money, if not all of your money trading. This is not financial advice. This is not professional financial advice. This is purely for entertainment and educational purposes only. So let's get straight into this video, you guys. We're going to be jumping into the NQ futures chart, the NASDAQ futures chart. And I'm going to be showing you guys the trade that I took today on NQ. Starting from the daily, I just want to go to the daily real fast and show you guys how I set up my daily bias for today. Really quick, really easy daily bias, the same way I do it every time. Just pretty much figuring out what side of the market did price break out of first. All right, I'm waiting for my iPad to have a connection on over here. Let's close out the app and then start this again. All right. All right, let's see if it works this time around. Bam, all right? So now we have our daily chart pulled up over here. And the first thing I want to show you guys is this, right? So when the market was close to opening up, all right, let's zoom in a little bit. When the market was close to opening up, we was already breaking out of this low right here on the daily. So we had already broke out the low of the chart. And then as you guys can see, what I did was I marked out, using my Fibonacci tool, I measured this wick from the low of the wick to the high of the wick. And I was trying to see, was price going to want to, at least get to the midpoint of this wick. And from there, I was going to see, how price was going to react. Are we going to retrace back down, or are we going to keep going up top? Now, initially, I will be honest with you guys, I wasn't expecting it to break out the top, because what I'm noticing when I'm forming my daily bias, like if it breaks out the bottom first, it's typically not going to just go right up and break out the top. So typically, it's only going to break out of one area at a time, right? So if it breaks out the bottom, I was thinking maybe it could come back up here, right? Maybe you could take some buys during the morning session. It comes back up here, touch the middle of the wick. That'll be the trade for the morning session, right? But as you guys can see, that literally never happened. And that gets me into my trade breakdown, right? So let's drop down into the 4-hour time frame. Okay, let's drop down to the 4-hour time frame. And I'm going to put a vertical line on the 9. Well, since it's a 4 hour, let's just put it on the 10 o'clock candle for now. Actually, no, I'm going to take that off, right? Because I want to show you guys something, right? So right now, my chart looks a little bit messy, but you guys can see right here, we had an order block, right? Then we had a gap right here in the market. And then before we hit this gap, I'm going to remove this Fibonacci off of my chart. It's a little bit too noisy for me right now. But before we hit this, and I'm going to remove these liquidity zones that I got marked out on my chart. It's just too much for me right now. Trying to do this video. So right here, we got a gap on the 4-hour. Boom, bam. So you measure out this from swing high to swing low. You can see price went just above the midpoint of this range, right? Just above the midpoint of this range. So we're going to leave that Fibonacci tool on there, because we're going to continue to drop down to the lower time frames so you guys can see how my process was for finding my trade, right? So right in here, we had a little bit of a 1-hour gap in here as well. And then, like I said, price had never got to like the midpoint of that wick on the daily time frame. So from there, I was already starting to think to myself, okay, maybe price is going to want to break down, right? Maybe price is going to want to start to retrace, because it's not looking like it's that bullish on going up. It was looking very weak going up, right? So essentially, when we drop down into the 1-minute time frame, I'm going to put a vertical line on my 9:29 candle, right? Or 9:30 candle. Actually, nope. I'm going to put it on 9:29 because I need you guys to be able to see this wick right here. So as you guys can see, as soon as the market opened up, we had a sweep right here above liquidity, and then we started to break down, created a little order block on a 1 minute time frame. This was the 8:30 news gap from today. I think it was like PPI or CPI number or something like that. But then, so the market came into this gap. At first, it was respecting it a little bit, but even more so, it was respecting this little order block right here. All right, and then so you guys can see price started to trend downwards, right? And then where was the liquidity at? Well, on a 1 minute time frame, you will have to zoom out to find your liquidity, right? The moment you feel like you know where price is trying to go, you zoom out and then you find that liquidity. So I have marked out this area right here as a area of liquidity, and then I had also marked out this low down here, right? And that's what I was pretty much targeting. I was also targeting this low down here, but I didn't know all the way down here, right? We had a little swing low down there, but I didn't know if we was going to get there, right? So I just wanted to have small goals. Price was a little bit slow starting out, and that was essentially the trade that you guys see me post in the community, on my community feed, right? So, we got the breakdown. We had a sweep of liquidity on the short term. And then we started to break down, made some market structure in there, made some order blocks in there. Right? Order blocks. Price comes up one last time, sweeping these two equal highs up here. Gave you another sell-off before it eventually hit the two areas of liquidity that would have been marked out on your chart, but it was on my chart. And then essentially that was it. I think I even got out like around a different level of. I could have held longer and made more profits on this trade, but I just pretty much got out. Price was, it was moving, but it was looking a little bit shaky, or maybe I was just doubting myself today. But essentially, that was my trade. And then eventually, price did come back up, swept liquidity around here. Then around 11 a.m., we seen that it finally got all the way down here to this level of liquidity. And then, drop down some more, take out some more liquidity. And now it's kind of sort of trending back up. But I don't really know if it's going to want to hit that midpoint of that daily wick that we was talking about, right? So pretty much today I'm done trading. It's 12:35. There's no other reason for me to get back into the market. I had already made a decent trade. So as much as I would have wanted it to be a bigger day, it's just sometimes you just got to walk away, When you get a clean move, it's just more times than not, it's going to be better for you to just walk away after that clean move and just avoid the stress of trading, right? So that was pretty much how I found my trade today. Like I said, I started from the daily time frame. I noticed that the market broke below the previous day's daily low, right? We broke below the daily low. I was waiting for the market to come back up when the market opened and see if we was going to touch that daily wick, right? And the reason why I'm telling you guys this is because I want you guys to go into your chart and be able to look at this for yourself as well, right? So I was looking for this daily low. That daily wick on the from the daily time frame. I was looking to see if the midpoint of that wick was going to get hit. We never hit that, and then price started to come back down after sweeping liquidity, right? Because that's another thing that you want to take note of. We swept liquidity up here first. This was pretty much like short-term liquidity. This was short-term liquidity, and then from there, we know we broke out the bottom, which means what? The market is kind of weak. It's breaking out the bottom. Not really saying like it's downtrending on the daily time frame, but like I said, if you know that if it have already broke out the bottom, and it's very unlikely to go break out the top, then we're going to start looking for sales if we're already up here somewhat near the top, right? So I'm trying to teach this stuff the best way I can. It's really not the easiest thing to teach. Like, it's an easy concept for me. I've been trading for 6 years, but I know like if you're a beginner trader, you're probably a little bit confused. But just try to watch these videos back, study them as much as y'all can. If these videos aren't helping you, just go straight to ICT channel and watch his content. You know, I think he got the best content for ICT concepts. I mean, it's his stuff. So, you know, I'm just trying to do my part and help some people learn this stuff as well. But yeah, so that's how I formed my trade. We had the sweep of liquidity appear, a little bit of a market structure shift. I found my areas of liquidity, took a little sell. It wasn't that big of a move. I think I probably only made 30 or 40 points. I'll have to go back and look at the entries and everything like that. But it wasn't really that big of a move. But you don't always need the biggest move to make profits. You know, you don't always need to have the perfect entry and the perfect exit. You just need to know where the market is going and what liquidity the market is going to target at that current trading session that you're in right there, right? Those are, in my opinion, some of the most important things for you to know, right? So that's going to be the video, you guys. I appreciate y'all for watching, man. Make sure y'all drop a like on this video, leave a comment below, subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget, if y'all want to use my Funder Pro affiliate link to support my channel, that's the best way to support my channel. You know, I do think Funder Pro is one of the best prop firms that's out there right now. That's why I'm promoting them right now and just them only, because, you know, I do want to eventually make some videos on some of these future prop firms and some of these CFD prop firms that's, you know, a bit sketchy. I feel like they're ripping people off. Essentially, Funder Pro has the same type of rules FTMO had when they first came out, right? So I do think Funder Pro is really good. Y'all could click that link below. And also, I do have a Telegram group as well. If y'all want to check that out, that link is going to also be in the description below. You know, and I'm going to be trying to help people get funded or build their small accounts. So, or even just help people learn ICT concepts, right? So if you guys want to reach out to me, the links will be in the description below. And that is going to be the video. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. And until the next time, peace, man. Hope y'all have a good day.